With the cost of living climbing, most South Africans run out of money before the end of the month. Recent research that was conducted by TymeBank found that 76% of people run out of money by the 15th of every month. With that in mind, today's episode of the Wealth Nation podcast, I'm giving you Budgeting 101.
Welcome to the Wealth Nation podcast, a podcast for every mother, daughter, grandmother, sister, and wife, and the men who are smart enough to tune in. The Wealth Nation podcast brings you all you need to know about investments, business, property investments, personal finance, and all-around financial wellness. Here is your host, Yolanda Rose.
Hi there, this is your host, Yolanda Rose, and if you're joining us for the very first time, welcome to the Wealth Nation podcast. I bring you various content, tips, and strategies that you can be using to solidify your finances, retire well, and build generational wealth. Now, if it's the first time that you're joining us on the podcast, welcome. Please subscribe on whichever platform that you are listening on. We are on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on Stitcher, we're on TuneIn. We're also on YouTube and on our website. It's www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com. Please leave me a review on whichever platform that you are tuning in. And also, if you missed our last podcast, I had a very exciting conversation with big-time entrepreneur Margaret Hirsch, and she was dropping a lot of value bombs on life, on business, and money. So go check it out. The Wealth Nation podcast is sponsored by FreshBooks. FreshBooks is the all-in-one small business invoice and accounting solution. The all-new FreshBooks is accounting software that makes running your small business easy, fun, and secure. Spend less time on accounting and more time doing the work you love. For your 14-day free trial of FreshBooks, go to www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com/FreshBooks. So Deputy CEO of newly launched TymeBank, Tariq Karan, says that we know many South Africans are struggling to save, but through sharing the insights from their study, they hope to help customers take control of their money so that they can work towards their goals and reach their full potential. The study that TymeBank actually conducted found that 43% of South Africans borrow money to get through the rest of the month. That's from the 15th of the month. About 9% of those participated in the survey said that they turn to banks to help them. 20% use credit cards, and 59% resort to borrowing money from friends and family. So the CEO of South African Savings Institute says that within African cultures, due to black tax, where those who earn a salary are expected to share it with other family members in need until they themselves have nothing left to save or to invest. The study also found that women are the hardest hit. 59% of women run out of money before the end of the month, compared to 56% of men. Over 60% of households in the country are fatherless, and more financial responsibilities are being placed on mothers. But the study found that women are better budgeters. So today, considering this very scary research that we've come across from TymeBank, I've put together this podcast to give you some tips on how you can start budgeting your money so that your money lasts you the entire month or for a greater period of time, longer than 15 days. And I'm going to give you some really nice pointers how you can set up your own budget, or if you currently have a budget in place, how you can refine that to get the most out of your money. So if you're always looking into personal finance and managing money well, you know that setting up a budget is the very foundation of managing your money. A budget is a roadmap from where your money will go, where it's being made, and how hard it's going to be working for you. Creating a personalized budget is essential to developing the right spending habits and setting aside money for the long term, and ensuring that money in your bank account goes where it needs to be. But how do you budget? Firstly, determine why you want to budget. Are you going to budget because I'm telling you to do so right now? Or is there a reason why you want to budget? You want your money to last you the entire month. You're saving for a specific purpose. Understand the why of why you want to budget. I just want to quickly tell you about some really cool audio content. Now, since you're listening to this podcast, you most likely enjoy consuming audio content. I wanted to tell you about Amazon's Audible platform. Audible is a subsidiary of Amazon and is the world's largest producer of digital audiobooks. Their selection include over 300,000 best-selling digital audiobooks, radio and TV programs, and audio subscriptions to popular magazines and newspapers. I would like to give you a 30-day free trial of Audible. All you got to do is go to www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com/audible and click on one of those links, and it's going to take you to your 30-day free trial where you can download 2 free audiobooks from Audible.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Tuned In. Now back to the show.
Secondly, you need to really dive deep into current spending habits before you can create a realistic budget. Or even if you have a budget and you really gone wayward with your spending, you need to create something that's really realistic for you. Understand where your money is going. What I usually do every couple of months, I print out my bank statement. And then it's not just browsing my phone app or my computer online, but I really print out my bank statement. Since banks have moved away from posting your statements, I print it out. I sit with a bunch of colored highlighters and I highlight what is wasteful expenditure and what are necessities. That is one way I understand where my money is going, where I need to cut down. Am I spending too much on takeaways? Have I exceeded my petrol allowance or my petrol budget for the month? That is how I understand how my spending habits. I try to do this every second month or so. So you need to understand where your money is going. And when you do this exercise, I promise you will be really surprised as to where your money is going, how lackadaisical you have been with your money. So I suggest that you do that with your bank statement at least every month, so that shock hits you and you start taking your budgeting seriously. And the next thing that you need to do is use a calendar to catch a trend. For example, I often find myself overspending around month end. I mean, money hits your account, you're going out for dinner more often, getting drinks more often. Try and understand which time of the month that spending usually happens. So when you are sifting through your bank statements, sit with a calendar. Or you will find that spending peaks at certain periods in the month. So understand when that happens. If you get paid on the 15th, you'll find those spikes around the 15th, or the 25th, you'll find those spikes around the 25th. But try and understand your spending patterns in terms of an actual calendar during birthdays, during vacations, during Christmas. The next step of setting up your budget is to add up all your income. Now, if you only have your salary, one, you need to diversify your income, start a side hustle or something like that. But add up all your incomes, be it rental income, investment income, a side gig, your side hustle, business income, income from investments, all of your incomes that you have in place, tally it up so you have your one total for the month. Now, if your income is variable, for example, you're a commission earner and your income varies every month, this means you'll have to decide on your own monthly salary. For example, I know if you're a commission earner, you're not spending everything that you have in the 1 month, you're stashing a good sum away. So when you do have those multiple incomes, pay yourself a salary every month. If you got 60 grand coming from your various income sources, pay yourself 40 grand a month, stash the rest away. A lot of the times you find that you're actually living off your last month's income when your income fluctuates. So it's important that you not spend everything in that 1 month. Thereafter, you're going to identify your personalized financial goals, such as, are you saving specifically for retirement, or are you building an emergency fund? Are you saving to buy a home, purchasing a new vehicle? Identify those goals and include those goals in your budget. Then decide how much you need to save. If you're planning to buy a house for $1 million, you got to save at least a 10% deposit and cover your bond fees, your conveyances cost. So be specific about how much you want to save. Also, empower your family, empower your partner. If you're single, great, wouldn't need to consult anybody else. But if you're in a household, you've got your partner, you have multiple incomes from various people coming into the household, have a family meeting. I mean, why not? I mean, you talk to plan your vacations and plan parties, right? So why not meet to plan your money? Then you're going to decide on the kind of budget that you want. either a zero-based budget or something alternate. Now, let me explain what a zero-based budget is. American entrepreneur Dave Ramsey talks about the zero-based budget, where your income and your outflows will always equal to zero, so it balances off. So every bit of income that you have coming into your account, it's always spent on something. By spent, I'm doing my finger quotes right here. For example, your savings is assigned somewhere, so your tally at the end of the month is equal to zero. Although you're not spending everything, it's just being allocated as it needs to be allocated. Then you have a different type of budgeting approach, such as the 50-30-20 budget, where 50% of your income goes towards your necessities, such as your rent, your bond, your food, servicing debt. 30% will go into your wants, such as entertainment. And finally, 20% will go towards savings. That's a little bit more flexible. So I highly recommend the zero-based budget first, because as a country and the state that we're in, we're not in the right place, and we need to be aggressive with our money management, and the zero-based budget is the best way to do that. Then you're going to choose a tool to make your budget. I specifically like Mint, and there's also a South African app as well. It's called Smart Money. Both are web-based and cell phone applications as well. So you can connect your accounts in there, and you can see your spending. In fact, there's another two apps I'd like to recommend. One is 22/7. Both, all these apps that I'm mentioning are available in the iStore and on Google Play as well. So 22/7 is a South African budgeting app, and it will show you where you're overspending. It links up your accounts, so you see everything all in one app. And when you overspend, it's going to show you flashing in red, you overspent by 3,000 rands. This app is going to tell you that once you do the initial setup. And the next app I recommend is Fudget, which is a budget planner. It's international based, so most likely you're going to see everything in dollars, but block out the dollars and look at the actual functionality of the app. So those are the four apps that you can use as an electronic tool, or you can even go old school and sit with a pen and a black book and write this stuff down. Okay, here's some common failures or mistakes when it comes to budgeting. Firstly, you set unrealistic expectations. If you want to make a budget but you can't stick to it, you're going to set yourself up for failure and frustration. So if you're budgeting for the very first time, don't be unrealistic with your budgeting expectations. Rather start off small and slowly build up momentum to developing a tighter, stricter budget. Another failure is that you are budgeting based on your gross income, where you're not taking into account the taxes that are due. Okay, so always budget on your net, not on your gross. And finally, you're going to determine how you're going to hold yourself accountable. Now, you're going through this budgeting exercise. Maybe you failed the first time or even the second time. How are you going to hold yourself accountable when failure and mistakes happen? Identify how you're going to hold yourself accountable. Making a budget is only the first step. You have to figure out how to live by your budget. Sometimes people are disciplined enough to just go cold turkey and make it happen for themselves. But a lot of the times people fail. And you need to get on track when you do fall behind. So try to automate as much of your billing as possible. Even your savings, try and automate it through your banking apps. And secondly, by tracking the spending. Those apps that I recommended to you, that's really going to help you track your spending and be diligent with it. Go into those apps every day, once in the morning, once in the evening, and check, how am I doing? Am I on track? Are my savings in check? Am I overspending on going out or after work drinks? Understand where your money is going and set yourself up. If I fail today, this is what I'm going to do to hold myself accountable. And then finally, you're going to set up a monthly budgeting review. Like I said, meet with your family or other household members. Sit and review your budget. I mean, big companies are doing it. They are budgeting. The government is doing. They're budgeting. They're not doing it very well, but they are budgeting. So check as a team. Hold yourself accountable. Like if Johnny overspent $100 this month on his airtime, you need to hold himself accountable. Let him feel the pain the next month. Cut back on his airtime. So it's important to check in with your budget, make the adjustments as you need, and see how you did each month, where you overspent. And if you had extra left over, then adjust your budget accordingly for the month going ahead. Your life will change over time, so changes will need to be made. Once you have a good baseline of your budget, making tweaks will be very easily. Once you've gone through these essential steps of budgeting, I know maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and you're frustrated, you don't work well with numbers, but it's something that you have to do if you want to get on track, if you want to take control of your money. You have to have that discipline. And budgeting is really easy once you go through it, a couple of times, especially if you've never done it before. So now you know every step that you need to take when coming up with your budget and putting your budget into work. A budget is not something that sits on the table or sits on your phone and you review it every couple of months or couple of weeks or even couple of days, but it's something that you live and you put into action. You need to take control of your money. Spend it well. You work hard for it, so don't flush it. So this is budgeting 101. If you're still old school and you're not into apps or anything like that, I do have a budgeting Excel template that I have included in the show notes. So check the show notes and get your free download of your budgeting app. And here's some bonus material for you. It's actually from one of the biggest financial services company in South Africa. It's from Liberty, and it's an app called Stash that will help you to save as you spend. So in a nutshell, Stash is an app-based tax-free savings account. Now, if you don't know what's a tax-free savings account, listen to our very first episode when we spoke to Magda Verzhitska, and she broke down the whole tax-free savings investments for us. So it's based on the tax-free investments that create savings out of spending. So when you buy a loaf of bread for 13 Rand 79 cents at your local grocer and you swipe your card, that difference from 13 Rand 79 cents rounded up to the next Rand, which is 14 Rand, that difference, it's just a couple of cents, goes into your tax-free savings account. Now, Liberty takes that money and puts it into an investment, a tax-free investment, into the top 40 biggest companies on the JSE. And that money grows in there. Now, it's not a lot. I know you're thinking it's not a lot, but imagine every day you're saving a couple of cents. In fact, the app even allows you to save 5 Rand, 10 Rand, 20 Rand when the sun is shining in your town. So it's all linked in on your app. It's linking into your weather app. You also save when you sweat. If you take 100 steps, 5 cents from your actual account goes into your tax-free savings. So there's a lot of incentive there. So this app is aimed at the young, very tech-oriented individual who knows that they need to be putting money away, but they don't have those substantial amounts. So every time you swipe that credit card or your debit card, money is being put into your tax-free savings. So rather than setting up a debit order or transferring money into a savings account, Stash can be one of the savings mechanisms that you do use. So every time you spend money, you select that roundup amount to the nearest 10 Rand or 20 Rand or 50 Rand that is deposited or stashed away each day into your tax-free investment. So if you want to sign up to this really nice app, check the show notes for links, or even our website. It's www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com. I have placed the links there. It's available on the Android Play Store and on Apple Store as well. And the best part about this is that there's no fees involved at all. So they're not charging you fees. So if you want, you could possibly save. You can put 100 Rand or even 50 Rand a day, which can easily come up to 2,000-3,000 Rand in savings every month. And all of this happens without fees. It's just that you don't have control into what fund this money is invested in, as it does go into the index fund that's tracking the top 40 companies on the JSE. Okay, so that's it for me on Budgeting 101 on the Wealth Nation podcast. Stay tuned. I got a nice surprise for you on our next episode. I'm talking to an international entrepreneur, and she's going to tell us how we can start our side hustle, earn in dollars, and source some very unique products from outside the country. So stay tuned for that.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to visit our website at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com and sign up for our free investment masterclass.